We got rabbits, now what? What do we do now? So guys, if you watched a video or two ago, you would know that we now have rabbits on the farm. We got 4 does and 1 buck. They're Californian rabbits, and we really got to figure out what's next for these guys. We got them in the barn for now because I had an opportunity to get rabbits. I didn't want to pass it up. It's taken me forever to find the right rabbits, and these are Californian rabbits. They're beautiful, like meat rabbits, and they're, I don't know, 10 pounds each, maybe 8 pounds right now. They're pretty awesome. What am I going to do with these rabbits? How am I going to keep them? Am I going to cage them? Am I going to have them in a colony? I don't know yet, guys. We got this huge paddock area where we're keeping the geese right now. It's got a little hut over there, and it's right beside the barn. It's right beside a water source, and it's nicely fenced in. But I don't think the fence is good enough for small rabbits, just bigger rabbits. And I'd have to secure the bottom if I was to use this space. And I'd have to do something about the top because they might be able to climb out, and there might be aerial predation around here because it's pretty wide open. The only issue I have with keeping the rabbits in this paddock over here is that it's kind of a waste of a perfectly ready to go paddock area. You know, like if we were to get goats or sheep or something, they could easily stay in this paddock area and I wouldn't have to do anything because it's already set up with goat fencing and wood fencing and water's close by and it's got a hut. So I do think we're going to be doing something different. I got a couple of ideas. Let me show you quick. We got that paddock area where the geese is staying, and then there's the water hydrant right there, and then we have this little section of trees. One option is that I could build right in this section right here, right beside the water hydrant. That way I'll have constant access to water and I wouldn't have to lug water far away. It's not far from the barn, so if I needed to get any kind of electricity, that's relatively easy. So that's one idea. Idea B would be to house them right beside the ducky bunkie. That's the custom ultimate duck house. And then I could keep them in this area of the trees right here. And it's easy access to water again because the water hydrant's right there. It's easy access to electricity because I have electricity in the duck house. It's easy enough to run another wire out there. It's closer to the orchard, so I'll have access to a little bit more grass and weeds and dandelions and whatnot. And it's also right behind our ultimate vegetable garden. So if we're growing any kind of foods or supplements for the rabbits, it's close by. Option 3 is right beside the chicken house. So we got the octagonal 7-coop chicken house that I built last year right there. And then there's the water hydrant right there. And then there's this kind of space in the trees over here. Potentially this can be a third option also on where to keep these rabbits. Keep this in mind, guys. I have zero experience in raising rabbits. I've never even had a rabbit or a bunny as a pet. I think when I was a kid, young kid, I had a hamster, and that's about the closest thing I ever had. Anything I know about rabbits is from me reading and watching YouTube videos. Internet is a great source of information. But that being said, yes, I'm a newbie with rabbits, but I'm a quick study, I'm a hard worker, and I'm wanting to know as much information as possible, and that makes it invaluable. But I have noticed a couple things already with these rabbits. Think about this, guys. I've been watching hours and hours of videos on raising rabbits for pets, raising rabbits for meat, raising rabbits as a hobby, watching what different people have done with their housing. And what I've seen so far from watching all of these other videos is that there's basically two ways to keep rabbits. One, in a colony, and two, in cages. And cages is kind of like a hutch. I guess the hutch is the structure that the cages go on, and then the cages themselves are cages. But those are two ways that I've seen so far. I haven't found any other way to keep rabbits, and I guess I'll have to come to a decision. But the good thing is, I have plenty of time. We're in the middle of winter here, and I'm still in the planning stages what it is I'm going to be doing in the spring once all the snow melts and the weather comes a bit better. There's a couple things that I have learned about keeping them in cages versus free-ranging them like in a colony. An immediate issue is that rabbits like to dig. So if you have them in a fenced-in area, they're escape artists. They're always wanting to dig. In addition to that, they dig holes and burrow their nests. So then they have their babies in these burrow nests, and you have no access to the nests, and you can't do anything to help the babies if there's any issues. And I mean, sometimes they get flooded, and I've seen all sorts of things online about it. Another thing that's already a problem inside our little horse stalls that we have here in the barn is that when they're free-ranging like this, a couple things actually. One, they fight. Believe it or not, rabbits fight. Not so much the boys, but the girls. They seem to be very territorial. But the other thing is, how do you collect the poop? Now, I don't know if you want to collect the urine, but the poop is like gold on a farm, okay? That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get rabbits in the first place, because my darling really wanted to have an incredible, amazing vegetable garden. You know, we tried last year to have our garden. It didn't turn out very good because the soil is not very good. So one, yeah, I could bring in thousands of dollars of soil, or I could have a bit of fun with rabbits and slowly amend the soil over time, and I think I'm going to do a combination of both. But collecting the poop is definitely an issue. If you look down here, you can see all the poop, and most of them is dry little pellets. There's a big pile of urine over there, and it's frozen, and it's very difficult to sweep up all of these pellets. So far I've been trying to use a dustpan and a little rake or a broom or something to kind of put them into the dustpan and collect them. These are the poops, eh guys? They're very small, they're very dry. There's no odor. I don't have any odor on this poop. With the rabbits so far, just in the short amount of time that we've had these rabbits, it's the urine that stinks. Stinks! It's bad. The urine's bad, so you want to get rid of the urine. You don't want to save the urine, I think. But I've seen people, they have these rabbits in cages, and then they poop through the wiring on the cages, and it just falls down, and you can collect it that way, or you could have a big Rubbermaid tub and collect them that way. Lot less work. The other thing I'd need to consider is water. Right now I'm using these heated water bowls. But if I had the rabbits in cages, you wouldn't be able to use these heated water bowls unless I guess it was a bigger type cage that had like a power outlet in every cage for you to keep a little bowl. That seems like a lot of wastage there. I've seen a lot of caged rabbits. They use these automatic feeders, automatic waterers. I don't know if that's feasible in a cold climate, because once winter comes, the water's just going to freeze in a couple hours. You can't have a bunch of tubed water lines going all over the place. They're just going to freeze. Another thing I guess you can consider is that, you know, I'm not looking really to cage an animal in a tiny little cage. I'll keep them in an enclosure, but I really want to give them the best life possible. And I don't know, there's a lot of difference of opinions out there about whether or not the animal is happy in a cage versus being happy in an open environment. So there's a whole lot of difference of opinions out there. I'm, I guess, of the opinion that if an animal is trapped in a little cage, it must not enjoy its life, right? There's a lot to be said, though, about making your animals live the best life possible. And really, at the Hidden Spring Farm here, that's what we're all about. I really want all of the animals, Molly included, to live the best life possible. Maybe it's also possible to have a hybrid system, you know, a little bit of free range time and a little bit of cage time. Another thing for me to think about is that we're a farm stay, guys, and basically that farmhouse is rented out on a regular basis to people who want to come with their families and experience farm life a little bit and learn a little bit about farms, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here at Hidden Spring Farm. If I have all these rabbits in a hutch inside all these cages, it doesn't really give our guests an interactive experience, and that's what I'm going for. That's why I'm thinking maybe a hybrid system where I can sometimes free range them and sometimes keep them in a cage. The internet is full of two sides. One side is pro-colony. Those guys say, hey, rabbits need to live a proper life. Rabbits need to free range. Rabbits need to do things that they have natural instincts for, like forage and eat grass and eat weeds and dig holes and things like this, kindle their kits. That's all, you know, natural instincts for a rabbit. The other side is people who are pro-cages. People who are pro-cages say that their rabbits are safer, they don't fight, they don't have disease or less disease, they have less ear mites, they have less parasite problems, because if you live in an area that has a high capacity for parasites in the ground, in the soil, and your rabbits are always touching the soil, parasites are a thing. Another thing they say is that if your rabbits are in a colony, it's very difficult to keep an eye on them to distinguish when one of them is having a problem. If one of them does acquire ear mites, you don't know which one it is. You know, there's just 20 rabbits in a pen. How do you keep track? And how do you keep track how much each individual rabbit is eating? If you have them in a colony, you then have to free feed them, which basically means you have a bowl there full of food and all the rabbits have access to that food. And if there's a bully rabbit or if there's a bigger rabbit and they eat all the food, there can be a problem with the other rabbits not getting enough food. And if a rabbit is getting too much food, they start to gain weight and they start to be less productive. So there's less of a chance that they can have number of babies inside a litter, general unhealthiness. I'm wondering if there's a way to do both, you know, and I might have to get a little creative in this habitat that I need to build for these rabbits. I want to keep them safe, I want to keep them productive, and I want to be able to have our guests at the farm stay interact with them, you know, like how I'm petting this cat right now. I want the guests to be able to go in there and pet the rabbits. Kids love that kind of stuff. What are you doing? What are you doing? So I might have to do a combination of both systems, maybe a hybrid type system, and I'll probably have to create it myself. And I mean, I can do it. I know I can do it. I'm just in the stage right now where I need to absolutely learn all I need to learn about raising rabbit. And probably in a year's time, I'm going to be a pro. That's how I just absorb all the information from all the other YouTubers out there. Ducks, I'm trying to make a video here. I decided to go in the duck house to get away from the wind, and the ducks are being a little noisy. I'm thinking I need to build some kind of a bunny barn, you know, like a little house type structure. Maybe inside the house I have cages in there, and the cages need to be kept away from the wood because rabbits like to eat the wood, and that way on off season, like winter season for example, I'll be able to keep the rabbits separated, and they'll be a lot safer that way. From each other, I mean. It'll be enclosed, and, you know, predators won't have access to it. I'm also thinking of making a way for them to exit out of the cage on their own to go into the free range area, like the pen or a run. And if I can do that, I think that'd be really cool. Me personally, I'm looking at putting this rabbit cage, rabbit enclosure, rabbit colony, rabbit habitat right beside the duck house here. It's close to the water hydrant because there's the water hydrant right here. It's easy access to the veggies in case I ever want to give the rabbit veggies. And maybe there's even a possibility of making a little door from their fenced in area all the way to the veggie garden. And then if I want to clean up all the veggies at the end of the season, I can just release them into there. I don't know. That's just me spitballing. I think that might be a stupid idea because once they go in there, how do I get them out? Lovely! Look at her. She's climbing up the duck run. Lovely! Get down! Hey, get down! She's crazy! These cats are like ninjas. They're awesome though. Chicken chores are done. Duck chores are done. Goose chores are done. Rabbit chores are done. Cats are fed. Molly's fed. Everybody's great on the Hidden Spring farm. Lovely. She's still up there. Lovely. Come on. Okay, let me collect my one duck egg. One duck egg today, guys. That's all I got. From like 12, 13, 14 hens. One duck egg. But that's okay. Give them a little bit of a break. And that way they'll be on full power when spring comes. As soon as spring comes, I'm going to be free ranging them in the orchard again. And I'll have to get a goose house done quick so I can free range them in the orchard as well. I can't believe how much there is to think about when raising rabbits. A lot of different ideas about how to raise rabbits. So many different perspectives, and I have my own perspectives. And I feel like what's going to be best is a hybrid between the two systems, cage versus habitat. I still have a lot to think about. The good thing is I have a lot of time to worry about it and start planning things out in my head. I also have to figure out a house design for these geese because I do want them to be able to free range in the orchard. It's nice to be able to let them out in the morning and then you don't worry about it until the end of the day. I like that. How about you guys let me know in the comments how many of you have raised rabbits, whether for fun or as a pet or for meat. It'd be interesting to know and hear some of your thoughts on what it is that you do. You know, I'm always one to learn new things, and this rabbit adventure is going to be a new thing, and I have a lot to learn. I mean, I'm full of information, you know, like studying this stuff since last year because it took us so long to get rabbits. I was hoping to get rabbits last year. Anyways, that being said, hopefully it wasn't an information overload. But appreciate you watching. You guys take care, okay? We'll see you on the next episode. Oh, and don't forget to click that subscribe and follow along on our story here. Click that subscribe button for me, please. Let's get it going. And don't forget to pound that like. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, eh?